I mean, I know these stickers are going to look good, but gosh, they take forever to get straight. Hello again, team. It's Jess or JashiiCorrin, and welcome back for my May 2020 plan with me. As can be expected, today I'm setting up my bullet journal for the month coming, but before we get into that, as per usual, we're going to have a look at how this month was going. So if you've been following along with my month of planning with me series, you've likely already seen a lot of this month's setup. But just in case you haven't been, we have my splash and quote page, my monthly log, which I'm using as more of a one-line-a-day / memories page, my mood and gratitude logs, my productivity tracker with this little Dutch door key in the middle, habits and steps trackers, my social media scheduler and my memories / media page, a monthly to-do list, and my meal log. After this I have a page dedicated to ways to fill up a monthly log, and then we're into my daily checklists. So we have the first week, second, third, the current week, it's currently Saturday, and next week. Flipping over though, as you can see I've already started to pencil out some stuff for May. Jumping over to the time lapse now though, just as a reminder, any of the equipment I use in today's setup is linked in the description box below. As promised, both to myself and to you guys, for May I'm doing an autumn theme. I've been wanting to do this theme for years, and as this was going to be my last chance for another 9 months, I made the commitment to myself that it was time for this theme. Of course, my colour palette for May is inspired by the colours of autumn leaves. To be honest, most of the trees we have in Wellington are evergreens, so we don't really get a lot of these gorgeous colours here, but when I lived in Melbourne, the street I lived on in particular was lined with deciduous trees, so they would change colour and drop their leaves. In terms of decoration for my monthly pages, I am mainly stuck with leaves of different shapes. I know that in a lot of the autumn / fall themed spreads that I found while I was looking for inspiration, a lot of them had things like pumpkins and sweaters and hot cups of cocoa or whatever else. Honestly, I thought that leaves was enough for me. I feel that they're fairly forgiving doodles to do. For mine, I just put down the colour with my Tombow first, and then outline them with my black pen. For my quote page, I wanted a quote that was both suitable for life at the moment and for my monthly theme. So I went with, "Change is the hardest at the beginning, messiest in the middle, and the best at the end." This relates both to the changing of the seasons, and also just to our world at the moment. There's a lot of change that's going on at the moment, especially surrounding how a lot of us go about our day-to-day lives. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, so I'll just say that I hope you and your loved ones are well, that you're staying healthy and safe and sane. I hope you're being kind to yourself, and of course to others, and I hope that they're doing the same for you. For my headers this month, I wanted to have white text on black. You guys know I love contrast. And I also wanted to use a typewriter font. I talked about it in one of my videos from last week, but these were just made using Microsoft Word, then printed out and attached using double-sided tape. With my quote page done, it was on to the cover page. For this page in particular, I knew what I wanted from the start. It was just a question of how to achieve that. In the middle of the page, I sketched out a maple leaf, which I then filled in with a gradient using my Tombows. So we have yellow on the outer points, transitioning into orange, and then into red in the middle. I made a lot of use of gradients in this monthly setup. You can also see that I had a gradient with my falling leaves on the quote page too, so yellow at the top, through to orange, through to red. Individually, these pages took 24 and 28 minutes respectively. Of course, those times don't include the sketching or the making of the headers, but those times are from the first touch of the pen to the final touches in both cases. Funnily enough, although these were probably my most involved pages in terms of decorations, they weren't actually the ones that took the longest amount of time. To finish off my maple leaf, I outlined it using my Pitt Artist pen and then stuck on the May 2020 header to complete my cover page. On to my second most time-consuming spread, coming in at 37 minutes, again not including the washi laying or the sketching, we have my monthly log. I went with a calendar layout again for May, but this time instead of having Thursday along the fold of the page, I have 4 days on the left and 3 days on the right. This allowed some room for decoration, but also I didn't find it all that pleasant having to write along the spine of the book in April. What also bothered me quite a bit was the sizing of Thursday's column in April, which was wider than the other days. I like things to be equally spaced. Although typically when I draw a calendar layout, I like to draw the full grid, for May I wanted to try something a bit different, and I guess it's technically a bit more minimalistic. Just the style of the calendar, that is, not everything else. Making use of one of those gradients again, I have a coloured line separating each week, and it's along those that I'm going to put the numbers for each day of the month. That numbering certainly bumped up the time taken on this one, as I decided to use stickers rather than just writing the numbers out. The decoration for this spread mimics what I had on the quote page, so that gradient of falling leaves and a quote that says, "Autumn shows us how beautiful it is to let things go." Again, the lines for that quote and all the other headers on this page were done with that white typewriter font on black boxes. On to the final touches for this spread, and of course, can it even be May without my favourite meme? I put this back in my journal for 2018 as well, so I wanted to include it again this year. Monthly log done, on to the mood and habits trackers. For this month I've decided to leave out my steps tracker because honestly my Fitbit is just too damn unreliable, and with it having been locked down for the past month, my step counts are just sad. I figured there's plenty of other things I'm tracking, so I don't really need to have my steps in there as well. All of that data is still going to be recorded through my Fitbit anyways, so I don't really need to have it in my bullet journal, especially if it's just going to bum me out. For my mood tracker this month, I'm doing something that you've likely seen before, a tracker in the shape of a scarf where you fill in each daily segment with a pattern that corresponds to your mood. I know, very original. I did at least try to make it a little bit more my own with the shaping, and also doing it in this arrangement meant that I got to use my ruler, which I'm always a fan of. As usual, I have 5 different moods ranging from very good to very bad that I'm tracking. I've given each mood a different pattern, but I'll still likely fill this one in with a gradient of colour. So it's just the pattern that shows the mood, while the colour is decorative. Technically you could track 2 things this way, so for instance with the mood being the pattern and productivity or amount of sleep being the colour, or of course something else. But for me, I'll just be using colour decoratively here. I was clearly really keen on quotes this month, so the quote that I have here on the mood tracker says, "You can't control how you feel, but you can always choose how you act." This one is from Mel Robbins, who wrote the 5-second rule, which is what I'm reading at the moment. For my habit tracker, I decided to opt in for a mini calendar layout. What I like about this style is that it makes it really easy to see weekly trends in your habits. For instance, is it always on a Thursday or a Friday that I'm not feeling inclined to complete a certain habit? Information like that can help you pay attention to what drives your habits, and also what makes you feel uninclined to do them. At this stage, I haven't decided on what habits I'm going to be tracking next month, but I still have a few days to get myself sorted. Along the bottom of this page, I have another kind of quote, and likely my favourite one related to habits. Small steps equals big progress. Then it was time to test myself by putting in some drop shadows and a space for the header for each of the mini calendars. I can't say these are the neatest, but I do like the vibrancy of them. When it comes to filling in my habit completion, I'm going to put a small coloured circle in for the days that I did complete the habit, in the same colour as the drop shadow, and just leave the space blank for any days that I didn't. I'm hoping to see some full mini calendars come the end of May. Both my mood and my habit tracker pages took about 15 minutes to set up, and then it was on to my social media page and what I'm calling my M&M and M&M's page, which is essentially just a media and memories page. The social media scheduler is just the same as every month, so my Instagram calendar with a space for each day of the month, a YouTube calendar with a space for each Sunday, Monday and Thursday, and then the remaining space down in the bottom I'm just filling with some more of those falling leaves. Of course, I had to incorporate that gradient again, so I've done this with the leaf decoration and by colour coding each day of the week along the left hand side. For the M&M and M&M's page, the title for this comes from the way that I used to describe my, quote, hobbies back in high school. Back then, I used to have what I call the 5 M's, so movies, music, munchies, mates, and memories. Here on this page, I've just decided that mates and memories can go together, and I've also included books and TV shows, but that didn't sound as good in the title, so I just left T&B out. In terms of time taken, my social media scheduler took about 20 minutes to set up, while my memories page took about 3. Because I enjoyed using it so much in April, I've decided to keep my productivity tracker for May, just with a few small changes. First of all, I didn't really like that I couldn't see the full header for the spread because of the Dutch door. So for the month coming, I've decided to also cut off the top section of the Dutch door so you can see the full page header at all times. While in April I only had 9 spaces for each day to fill in the ways that I was productive, I found that on some days I could use just a little bit of extra space. So my second change is that for this month coming, I've got 11 spaces to record the productive things for each day. My last real change is to do with the key. Last month I only had 4 categories, so I had work, JashiiCorrin, home, and personal. But for May, I've decided to split the personal category into 3. So I now have work, JashiiCorrin, and home, but I also have social, leisure, and my personal category is now more for self-care or personal development. Just like last month, each category has a colour code, so I'll fill in the boxes for the tracker with the relevant colour and symbol. If you wanted a little bit more information about how I use this tracker, there's a link in the cards above to the video that I did on that one. This spread takes the prize for the longest to set up, which was roughly 40 minutes. That's probably because of all the ruling, but also because of the Dutch door, which really just means there's more to fill in here. Also, if you wanted more information about how to do Dutch doors, either the one that I've got here or a couple of other styles, I have a couple of videos on those. I've linked them in the description box below for anybody who's interested. While I'm filling out the rest of my productivity tracker, a couple of questions for you guys. Firstly, what is your theme for May, if you have one? I always love to hear what themes you guys are doing. 1, because I'm nosy, and 2, because I love to steal your ideas. I get a lot of inspiration from this community, and I really appreciate when you guys share your ideas. Another question. I know a couple of you have said previously that you appreciate me telling you guys how long it takes to do my setups. Today I told you times per page rather than just total time, though if you were curious, I filmed for about 3.5 hours for this video. We'll just ignore how long the editing took. It was a lot longer. The question though, for my future monthly plan with me videos, would you prefer times per page or just overall time? I'm happy to do either, but I just like to know what you guys prefer. With the productivity tracker done, it was then on to my meal log. This one took about 10 minutes to set up and was just in the same style that I usually use. So 4 columns, each spanning half a page, one for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. It's simple, but it's effective. The quote that I'm writing out here says, "We all eat, and it would be a sad waste of opportunity to eat badly." This one's from Anna Thomas. I must say, I am quite looking forward to May. A lot can happen in a month, and I'm certainly interested to see where we're at come the end of the month compared to the start of it. Also, I just really love this theme, and I love the colour palette, so I'm really looking forward to getting to use that as well. And for the final flip through, we have my quote and splash page, the monthly log, mood and habits trackers, social media scheduler, and my media and memories page. Productivity tracker, and my meal log. Thank you for watching, team. If you liked today's video, please do make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you wanted to see more from me, feel free to go check out one of my other videos. Until next time, bye!